Hello everybody and welcome back. Hope everybody had a great summer. So today we're going to be doing our first cooking video for fall 2021. So it's going to be a good one today. We're going to be making hamburger steak with onions and gravy, a side of rice and carrots, and we will also be doing 30-minute dinner rolls because I know some of you wanted to try your hand at making buns or bread. So we're going to do the rolls today, and we're also going to be doing a fun little dessert that Victoria and I cooked up. So it's the French vanilla cupcakes. We're going to slice those in half, put some vanilla pudding in there with some strawberries, and then top it off with the other little piece of cake there. So it should be good, and I hope you're ready to cook today, and we'll be right back. Okay, so today we're going to be using a Duncan Hines French vanilla cake mix for our cupcake dessert. And as you can see, I already have the mix, the eggs, the water, and the oil in there. So I'm going to get mixing that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the batter in our pans, and we have the oven preheated to 350, so we're going to stick these in the oven and then get started on the pudding. So we'll be right back. Okay, so the pudding part is very simple. We have our Jello vanilla pudding mix there. We have added that to 3 cups of cold milk, and we're going to mix that up, and then we'll set it aside, and then we will get started on our 30-minute dinner rolls. So we'll be right back. Pudding is done, so I just covered it with some saran wrap, and we're going to set that aside, and we will get going on our 30-minute dinner rolls. Okay, we're back. So it looks like our cupcakes are ready, so I'm just going to shut the timer off, and we'll take out the cupcakes. And yeah, they look good. Looks like they're done. They smell absolutely delicious. So what we normally do is we get a toothpick, okay, right, one of the big ones, and that is clear. So these cupcakes are done. We'll get them on cooling racks, and when we come back, we're going to get started on our 30-minute yeast rolls, okay? Okay, we're back. So we are going to be making 30-minute dinner rolls now. So I'm lucky enough that this kitchen has a KitchenAid, so I'm going to use that. But I have myself made bread over the years, mixed by hand, and this is not going to be a big batch. So if you don't have a mixer, that's fine. Just do it by hand. This is just a little bit easier. So to start, I have the oil and the sugar in here. Okay, and now I'm going to add 1 cup of warm water. And now I'm going to add my 2 packages of yeast. Okay. And now I'm just going to mix that up just a teeny bit. Okay. And now what we do is we let the yeast do its work. So that's going to sit about 10 minutes, and then it's just going to bubble up. And then from there, we're going to start adding flour and making our dough. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. It's been 10 minutes, so if you want to come and have a look, you can tell your yeast is good. If your yeast doesn't look like this when you're making bread, it's not good and your bread will not rise. So I'm just going to give this a quick little stir. And for this recipe, I am now going to add my beaten egg. Okay, there's that. There is my softened / melted butter. And half teaspoon of salt. Oops, that's okay. All right, so we're gonna stick this in here. Okay, we're gonna give it a little stir, and then we're gonna start adding flour. So I'll just be back in a couple minutes. We'll add flour until the beater can't mix it anymore, and then I'm gonna knead it for a few minutes by hand, then we're gonna let it rise. So, and some of you may be mixing it by hand, but like I said, it's not a big recipe, so it actually won't take long for you to do, and we'll be right back. Okay, so that's how your dough should look, and the mixer actually does a really good job. So we're just gonna knead it a little bit, and this is mixed really well, so I'm not gonna have to knead it too much. So I'm going to finish doing this, and then I'm going to set it in the bowl. And the recipe says that you can leave it for 10 minutes, but if you have 30 minutes, let it rise for 30 minutes. The longer the better. And this is quick roll dinner rolls. But like I said, if you can leave it for 30 minutes, great. But if you don't have time and you're like, man, I just want to get these in the oven, the kids are hungry, go ahead and do that too. So I will finish this up, get it in a bowl, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we let the dough rise for 10 minutes. So now you have to cut it up, and the recipe says 18, but I have 16 here. So just make a ball. Here's your pan. And then just make sure that you roll it in the oil. It's just easy peasy. So we're gonna put it all in the pan, and then we're gonna set and let it rise for another 10 minutes. Okay, they don't have to be perfect. You can shape them if you want, but I'll get all these in here, and then we're just gonna let them rise for like 10 minutes, and then we'll pop them in the oven. And we're getting that much closer to having our 30-minute dinner roll. So see you in a bit. Okay, so time to check our buns. Oh, and you can see how much goes of resin. So now they are ready to go in the oven. The oven is preheated to 400. So it goes on the middle rack. I'm gonna go right in the middle of that rack, and I'm gonna put it on for, we'll do 10 minutes. It says 10 to 12 minutes. So we can check it at 10, and if it's not brown enough, we can leave it in for another couple minutes. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started on our hamburger steak with onions and gravy. So as you can see, I have all the ingredients out here. So there's my ground beef and Worcester, and then all my other stuff here. So we'll be right back, and we'll get started on these. Okay, so we're back. So before we get started on our hamburger steaks there, what I did was I peeled all my carrots and I cut them. They're sitting in the water in the pot, ready to go. I have my water measured out for the rice. So once these hamburgers are done and then they start simmering, we can turn everything on. We might turn it on a little bit before that, but then that'll get cooking, so everything will be done at the same time. And our delicious buns are in the oven cooking, so let's get started. So first, I have my ground beef, breadcrumbs, onion and garlic powder, some salt, some pepper, my 2 eggs, already gonna tell this is gonna be so delicious. It says a teaspoon. Just measure it with my. Okay, so we have everything in there. Break up your egg and get everything in there. Once you got it like that, use your hands. You can use gloves or not. I just prefer to use gloves. And get all that mixed in there. Okay, and then once I get all this mixed, when we come back, I'll show you. I'm going to form these into balls. We're going to flatten them out, and then we're going to put it into our preheated pan here, and we will cook those. So we'll be right back. Okay, so the timer's gone off, so you can have a look. They're lightly browned. I want to leave them in for a couple more minutes. So we're just going to turn this back on for 2 minutes. Start. Okay, so now we're back. My pan is preheated. And now my onions are all thinly sliced, and I'm going to start making my patties. So they're not going to be that big because it calls to make 8. Okay, doesn't take much. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them, and then I'll put them all in at the same time. And once I've got these made, we'll be right back, and then we'll add them to the pan along with the onions. Okay, our buns are done. Let's have a look. Oh my God, wow, they look amazing. How do they smell, Victoria?
They smell wonderful.
Delicious. So I'm going to put them over here. I'll take them out of the pan in a minute. So we'll leave those there, and we're going to get started on our little hamburger steak. So here's our patties. I'm going to get all these in the pan. Hear that nice sizzle of the pan. So I'm going to get these in, and then I'm going to add the onions. And we'll have a look at them in a couple minutes when we come back.
Go.
Okay, so as you can see, these patties actually hold up really well together. I doubled our recipe. So I'm just flipping them over, and then I'm going to cook them for about 4 more minutes on this side. And then I'm going to take them out, and then we're going to make the gravy. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back, and these have cooked. I just made room so I had another pan there. So we're going to take these out. Leave your onions in there. And I'm going to take all these out. So once I do, I'm going to cover them with tin foil to keep them warm. And when we come back, we're going to add the flour, and we're going to make some gravy. Okay. So now we have our onions in there left over, and we're going to sprinkle the flour on there. Okay. And now you're going to stir that up. Okay. And you'll see that flour will get mixed in there. And once that's mixed in, we are going to add our beef broth. And there we will have our gravy. Okay, so we have that going. Add your beef broth. Like I said, I doubled my recipe, so. And this will give you plenty of gravy. So we'll have a look at it when we come back.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so now our gravy is nice and delicious and thick, so we're going to put these back in. I've turned the heat down, and we add these. Add these back, and then stir it up, cover them up, and then we're just going to let it simmer for a few minutes because they are cooked already, and then we will be able to start lunch. So see you back in a couple minutes. Okay, so everything's ready. So I'm going to make a plate. Gravy and onions. Oh my god, this smells amazing. And there's some rice. So you can make mashed potatoes if you want. That would be just as good. Okay, and then some carrots. I'm just going to put some seasoning and some butter on this, and then we'll have a taste. Okay, here's everything. It looks absolutely delicious. And let's have a bite and see how it is. This is a perfect dinner for fall because it's cold outside, and this is such comfort food. So I gotta butter my bun and try that. So I hope you and your family enjoy this meal, and I will see you next month. Okay, so we are going to show you, or I am going to show you how this dessert is so simple. So we made our cupcakes, and Victoria was nice enough, cut them in half for me. So we have, and then I made the vanilla pudding. It kind of looks like a lemon one, but it isn't. So you actually don't need much. Open it up. Put a little bit on there. Your strawberries. We just decided something different, and it actually turned out really, really good. So you just need a few strawberries on there. Put a little bit more vanilla pudding on there, and that helps that stick. And voila, you have dessert. Okay, so here's the dessert. Like I said, it's quite simple. It's actually really delicious. So thank you, Victoria, for your help in brainstorming our dessert for today, and your kids are gonna love it. The cake mix, the French vanilla is absolutely delicious. So everybody enjoy, and I'll see you next month.